So guys, I have one more, I guess, little tip for you in developing this sort of thing is, now I'm starting to get into my model a little bit and start to figure out how I'm going to weave my way through. And it's obviously not fully worked out yet. Like I'm going to have to, pull this in so that it creates a smooth transition from this to that. I might even, curve this out so it blends a little bit better, but all those things are going to come to pass. But as you start to ramp up and down, you need to think about where these rails are actually going to occur, because what happens here is if I add, and if you're watching the recording, I'm doing Grasshopper off screen, but if I set one curve and I add this curve edge now, what's going to happen is that panel is going to stretch all the way to the end. Right, so we need to go through a process of thinking through how we're going to get into these different environments. Whoops, go here, go back. So what we have to do is actually grab that curve, and we're going to have to modify it. So I turned on my edit points, and I'll actually pull that. I don't want to do that. Move that edit point from there to there, and now when I select that, I set one curve, and I'll pick that one, and it'll only go to there. Okay, and it might look a little cheesy there, so I'm going to have to change the number of panels to be 10. Right, so we're going to see something like that, and then even more importantly now, I'm going to do that same thing that I did before, where I copy and I paste it, pull it down, and I'm going to set multiple curves. I'm going to pick these two, curve, curve. There they are. Number of panels I'll reduce. That. Whoops. Okay. So something like that, right? So we're going to have to actually show these relationships here, right? So the articulation of guardrails is going to guide where we move in the space. And also, does your panel actually have to live exactly at the edge of your surface? Well, the answer is no, it doesn't. In this case, this particular curve is you can see that it's conflicting with the outer shell of my building, right? So I need to move it. Well, Grasshopper makes this easy for us because it's live and attached to that particular curve at any point before I bake it. So if I pull this out a little bit, like that, you can see that it's actually kind of moving it away from the surface until the point where it finally clears it, no problem, right? So you want to go through that process of verifying that it's not going to create a conflict in your model as well. Now, of course, that's going to have to change your design a little bit. So I could have this thing return and then kind of come down here, or I can take everything from my model. I'll grab curve, surface, and whoops, let's get the curves first. Curve, curve, and then surface. I'm also going to grab that surface face, and I'm going to grab this surface edge. And the cool thing is now I can just move. I'm going to go from this point to the point that I moved my curve to, and it's going to shift that whole system over. Okay, so use your hotkey select functions, Control, Shift, and click. Use it to your advantage because it's really going to help you just kind of like stretch and pull either an edge or a face in order to make this thing really work for you instead of making it a little bit more difficult for you. What questions do you have? Was that helpful to see? A little pro tip for you all? Okay. All right, so I'm going to keep moving forward, and you'll kind of see what I mean about making the spaces, picking some views and stuff like that. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I'll come help out.